Hey, we're on. I got Gel here. He's
Okay.
living in, and he's got a channel, Xiao'sChannel. I'll put it in the description when we're done here. But I don't know. I think I've seen you last year. First time I seen you, I think seen you doing an Anthony, yeah, Montabasco like street epistemology thing. And that's when I first met you or whatever. And did a couple things on chat with you, and you kind of quit doing that then, huh?
Street epistemology, yeah. Street epistemology really changed how I engage with conversations.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you about your deeper learning, the schooling that you went to. What was that all about? What kind of courses?
Oh, you mean deep learning? It's an AI thing.
It's an AI thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's you throw a bunch of data into a bunch of math, and it will create artificial intelligence for you.
So it's like a bottom up kind of a thing where it does it just experiments and redoes it. So how do you go about doing that anyway? Just out of scratch, what do you come up with a topic that you want the computer to learn or the AI to learn, and then go from there, or how do you start it out? How do you start?
Well, I guess it all starts with a problem. Currently, the most common use for deep learning is, I would say, image recognition. For example, you can tell if a picture is a cat or a dog. Or a more practical example would be if a handwritten text is 1 or 2 or 3, so you can use it to recognize like handwritten letters, so you can automatically sort letters.
Okay. And one of the things I understand about that is that it needs a lot of data for that for it to get better. So, and I think China is actually one of the bigger innovators on it when it comes to face recognition and all that, because there's so many more people in China. That helps AI out.
China certainly is a big user of the technology, and I can see a lot of papers that bear Chinese author names.
Yeah. Well, they don't even have any. They don't even use money anymore in China, do they? They use just your face recognition on whatever on there.
Money? You mean?
You don't have actual paper money. You have an app on your phone where you go up to something as what I understand.
Oh, well, we still have paper money actually.
Really?
Let me see if I can find my wallet. Here's my wallet. This is paper money of China. This is 100 yuan.
Okay. What's that worth in dollars?
Yeah, it's sometimes I feel like an alien for using it.
I've heard nobody uses it there anymore.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty wild.
They kind of require you to submit your identity and all that stuff, so you can make digital money thing. So for me, like I don't have a Chinese phone number currently, so it's very difficult for me to do that.
And I suppose you probably can't even go to China, right? Or they allow to travel across the borders now in China?
Yeah, that's for
no foreigners though, I bet.
It's for the near future.
What's Japan's? How are they doing with the crisis going on there with the pandemic?
I think in China it's kind of normalized at this point. People are still on alert. Oh, you're talking about you aren't talking about my parents. I thought you were talking.
I was talking about China, not Japan. I mean.
Okay, so Japan is in a soft lockdown. Basically, what's happening is the Japanese constitution is kind of special. Some would say it's written by the American, and it prohibits some certain things, and lockdown, like how it's done in America, would be one of those things. The other things it prohibits are military, but it doesn't stop Japan from having a self-defense force. I'm not against Japan having a self-defense force, but it's lockdown is one of those things you can't easily force people to close down their business according to the constitution. I think that's the reason.
Yeah, probably not. Oh, I just used my other channel, Furlock, to do the comments. That's right.
You have 2 channels. Okay.
Yeah. So soft lockdown. What would you say is the big difference between Japan and China with the culture? What's the biggest difference?
Culture. Well, we're certainly like. It's all kind of hierarchical. I would say China is kind of less hierarchical at this point. Japan has more traditional thinking to China. For now, it's kind of dominated with patriotism.
Okay.
So because patriotism, I think that's kind of what patriotism. What?
Which country did you say was in the patriotism? The Japanese or the Chinese?
China.
China, okay. So they're more nationalistic. Yeah, I suppose they kind of always were though. China, I always think of China as being more about for the country or whatever you want to call it. Kind of the attitude. I think that's kind of what their attitude is. What your culture is, right? What you grew up with.
Yeah. It's actually something I want to talk about in my next video, but.
Okay. Oh, you got it. Yeah, when's that coming out then?
It's really interesting. I think it always plays a part when you're dealing with someone from China. Maybe they are not like ultra patriotic, but there will be something. Either they are patriotic or they are just despise the whole thing. I think there's like 2 extremes.
Friend of mine, he has a channel. His channel's called Skadoosh, but he does racing drones, and he lives in China, and he makes some sort of golf carts or whatever. He has his own business that he runs out of a shed or something out of there. But he's been stuck there for a while now, and he can't even go back to see his kids because he's a foreigner, so he won't let him out of there. And
isn't that like repatriation? I'm not sure if that's the right word. That kind of flight sponsored by government.
Yeah. By what now? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. I got to turn you up a little bit here.
Oh, okay. So isn't there like this airplane sponsored by the government that you can I think it's called repatriation flight. You can go back to
repatriation.
Yeah, go back to your country.
Yeah, that'd be right. That'd be correct.
Maybe they missed that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Do they talk about China, like just in general, rather than its business?
I think whenever he just didn't really say anything about it. He kind of used different words or whatever. Just kind of went, blah, blah, blah. So he's afraid of saying something to it. So
that's certainly a thing that happens.
I know they're strict in China. I know that. Is that the big difference? Japan's a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more like how should I say it? Lacking in like being strict on rules.
Speech is freer.
Freer, I would say. Yeah, you're allowed to.
Yeah, I would certainly say that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely, I'd say.
I mean, there are still consequences. You can be punished for what you say.
Yeah.
Like if you have a job and you say something that make people unhappy, and they can remove you from the job. And
like yeah, I'm sure it's you got to kind of you're underneath the hierarchy.
Private company.
I don't think I'd survive too long with that kind of system, because I'd be like, I got to do my thing, man. I got to be free.
Yeah. I always feel I'm more individualistic than my parents said that as well. Like they're like, you are just more individualistic than the average Chinese people.
No,
it's only better off if you live in another country, they said, and they sent me to Canada.
Well, that's free. Canada's a great place. Which part of Canada are you in?
Oh, I was in Ontario. I was in this university called York University, not to be confused with University of York, which is in England.
Okay, well, you're pretty close to me then. I'm in Minnesota, so.
Oh, Minnesota. Okay.
Just south of Ontario.
Southern Canada.
I'd be just south of Ontario. Did you learn how to speak French in Canada?
No. Well, actually, a little bit. Because all the packaging has French next to the English word, so it kind of learns some of the French words.
Yeah, it's a different dialect though than French. French people say that they understanding him speak it, but
I really like languages, by the way.
How many do you know?
I speak this language called Esperanto.
Esperanto? How many?
It's kind of based on how many languages. But that depends on how well you're asking. Like, I can introduce myself in that language, but I wouldn't. I would say the language I'm proficient with are just three, just Chinese, English, and Japanese, which I can work in. I can have a casual conversation in Esperanto.
Is it common for Japanese and Chinese to know both languages? Is that pretty common?
Oh, so you can read signs.
You can read signs.
I think that's a really cool thing. So the Japanese signs and Chinese signs are usually, well, obviously for Chinese, it will be in Chinese characters, but in Japan, the signs are usually also in the Japanese version of the Chinese characters.
Okay.
And so, yeah, sometimes they are just the exact same words. And even if it's not, it kind of makes sense. So you can say, you can.
Who's got the bigger alphabet, like China or Japan?
Danger. Alphabet? Alphabet?
Yeah, who's got more letters in their language?
What do you mean?
Like Japan or China?
Letters is the same thing. Like, what if we don't have the concept of letters?
Yeah, I understand. Also, too, in the Chinese language, you have the different tones level or whatever that you speak with. It's like a different pitch on your voice that you use, like a higher pitch or something.
It depends on the dialect.
Yeah.
The Mandarin has 4, and they are a language that have like, I think Cantonese have 7 or 9. And there's interesting thing. Vietnamese also have that, and they have like 5 or 6 or 7. I don't know.
Huh. See, that's a weird concept to me.
And apparently, there's Vietnamese. Certain dialects of Vietnamese preserves classic Chinese better than any dialects in China.
Oh. Huh.
Like the sound of classic Chinese.
I got a friend from Vietnam. I wonder if he'd be able to do that. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna ask you something else too. Where's my notes? I can't remember where I put it.
It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, we got time here.
Go find your notes.
It's raining today, so I can't get out. I've been doing some landscaping on my house, and it's raining today, so I ain't gonna be able to get out and do anything. Well, I could, but I don't like getting wet. I don't know. What else? I just can't remember what the heck I was going to ask you. Is there something else that I remember? Let's get back to your street epistemology. Did you ever? What made you get into that with Anthony anyway? Or did you find Anthony mind.And's channel and then decide to do it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So at the time, I was spending a lot of time on atheism, on atheist activism against religion, to put it unapologetically. So that was flashy new thing that happened in the landscape, and I was attracted to it. And I actually did this app that would train you to become a street epistemologist called Xiao'sChannel. It's a paid app, but there's like first 2 chapters that's free. And it really helped. It really helped. I actually had what's it called? Oh geez, I couldn't think of the word. What's it called when people preach the religion, like professional religion preaching people? What are they called?
An apologist?
No. They are like proselytizers, but there's like missionaries.
Missionary. Oh, missionary. Okay.
I got missionaries to admit their argument doesn't make sense. I got them to admit to me. That never happened even before I learned street epistemology.
Yeah, well, it's basically Socratic questioning is what it is. I mean, that's you just get the other person to.
There's also, I think, there's also a human touch to it. I think it's like when you're having one-on-one conversation, there's a social aspect to it, make people open up and makes them feel.
You want them to put down their defenses so that they think about it themselves and come to they find the answer. You don't give them an answer. That's kind of the whole thing with that. I understand of it. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's certainly a part of it.
Evangelist
has to make someone think. Oh, what?
Richard Wood just said in the chat there, evangelist. I think that's the word you're looking for.
Evangelist. I think that's more like when you say evangelist, I think of like TV people that's really fancy, have a lot of audience.
That's a tele-evangelist.
Okay.
Hey Neil, how you doing? Well, I'm an atheist, so you're probably gonna get a lot of atheists coming onto the chat here once in a while.
Hello, fellow atheists.
Yeah, I don't know. There's apologists and evangelists. I can live without them. But I suppose you got somebody from the South, like a Southern Baptist preacher man or something, huh? Was he really defensive, even though you on everything that you did with him, or what?
Wait, who are we talking about? Which one?
You were talking about the evangelist or whatever, weren't you?
The missionary?
Yeah.
They were really nice people. They're Mormons.
Okay.
So I used to live really, really close to this Mormon church. So I just paid them a visit. It was convenience.
Convenience?
Yeah, I mean, there's only certain amount of time in a day, and
actually, Neil is in the chat there. He's from Canada too. He's from Canada, I should say.
Hello, Neil.
He's out. I think he's out in British Columbia.
Working in the lab. Interesting. What kind of lab?
Yeah, I don't know about Canadians though. Did you get a lot of maple syrup when you were there?
I use maple syrup moderately.
I like a lot of it. I'm a glutton when it comes to that. I like a lot of maple syrup, especially if it comes from Canada. Actually, a guy that I work with, he did tap some like trees or whatever for syrup this last spring. I got to do that one of these years too and start doing it because I got plenty of trees in my backyard.
I was wondering, does it like hurt the tree? Can you like just if you keep draining the sap, it's like
I don't. You know what? I don't know exactly. I'm not. I mean,
like I gave blood, but like there's a limit. Like after the limit, they wouldn't let you to give blood anymore.
Yeah, good. Good point. Is there that you can do too much? Like, I suppose if you just put one tap a year into a tree, because I know you can get like a 5-gallon bucket out of a maple tree if you got a good one. But that takes a while. There's a certain time.
I don't know how much a gallon is, but I think it's a lot. It's like a liter.
Well, let's bring up a video on it, huh? I think you can share your stuff on here.
Yeah.
I'm not used to the StreamYard at all. I haven't done Hangouts probably in like
chemistry, environmental sector. Okay, that's interesting. So I used to be really interested in chemistry. Like now I'm doing programming, but I used to really like chemistry. I used to have this chemistry set at home, and once I actually burned my hand. I'm not sure if you can see this, but these are like burn marks. Yeah, I was in hospital for like 2 weeks.
Ouch.
Yeah, actual flames.
Oh yeah, what is it? Like batteries. Batteries can explode on you, man.
Okay, I was an idiot. So I was trying to extract the oxidizer in fireworks, but I didn't really clean it. So some oxidizer was still among the residue of the fireworks, and when I was grinding it with a modern pestle, it just started. Start burning.
The Prime Minister of Japan and the leader of China, they don't say things like inject yourself with Clorox, do they?
Inject yourself with what?
Clorox, bleach. You can have our president if you want, because he said that yesterday.
You know what? So about Donald Trump is like I'm no longer surprised whatever he says.
It's impossible to guess.
I'm no longer surprised.
I think he's got like dementia where he's losing his memory or something like that, and he's got a bunch of yes men around him, and they're all too afraid to say anything to him or something. That's what it seems like to me. Because otherwise, why would you back? That's just crazy. I mean,
I think you have to ask like
that's a treatment.
People that support him. Do some street epistemology on him.
I don't know why.
People,
I don't get it. Yeah,
like figure out why do you keep supporting someone like that?
How can you not see that he's just mentally not there? He's not even. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I'm amazed that somebody can become president of the United States by being that much of an idiot. I don't get it. I mean, he's totally.
I think that's why you want to fill in that gap in your knowledge. I think if one person does it, like or 1 in 1,000 person does it, you can say that person is abnormal, that person is crazy. But if like almost half, not really half, almost half of the people in your country support this guy, then
well, I look at it's not even him so much, but it's the party.
They hate the other person.
The people that support him, the Republican in office that support him, and the people that talk about him. If you even give him one bit of criticism, you got this big attack mode. Freaking
that's why you want to do street epistemology. Don't criticize. Don't let them talk.
Well, you can't even ask them a question. They take everything as an attack. They do. All right, you interview on it. You might be right.
Thank you.
But when they go out and protest during the lockdown like that, and basically I look at it this way: you're kind of jeopardizing the healthcare workers' lives, because if that spreads more, now they can't keep up with the patients coming in. Then you're jeopardizing people's lives, and that's I don't know.
I heard it
gets complicated.
It's pretty bad in the United States.
It seems like seems like in the last 10 years, probably it's gotten more polarized where people are, they're more aggressive at each other. They don't talk nice to each other. It's, you say one little thing and it triggers people and they just go off in anger. So it seems like that in the last few years. But that's freedom of speech.
I think it's probably especially more difficult when it's like on a protest, because there's other people that's watching. So it's not just like when you do shift epistemology, that's one-on-one.
True. Yeah. Well, you know what? Any one of them Trumpers, get them one-on-one and talk to them in a room and they're fine. But get them into a couple of people in a group or whatever, and it's all over. They're just, you know, the tribalism kicks in, and I think that's an innate thing with humans. We all get together in the group to protect ourselves, you know, or be stronger, you know, to feel more comfortable. It makes us more comfortable if we get in a group of people that agree with us. At least I think so, anyway.
I think sometimes it's just you don't want to lose face in front of your friends.
Yeah, that's probably a big thing too. I don't really care what people think about me, so maybe I'm immune to being in a tribal. What time is it in where you're at right now?
It's about 10 p.m. I usually sleep at, I don't like to say 12 p.m., but actually I sleep at 2 a.m. these days.
These days? Are you on lockdown yet, or just a soft lockdown? You can still just
right. So I currently don't have a job, which is a bad situation, but I'm looking for it. So I don't have a reason to go out or have a regular schedule. I try to.
I think we're at like 22 million. I heard in Los Angeles County, which is that's our biggest population, is less than 50% of the people still have jobs in LA. Apparently, that's how many. Yeah, that's crazy. Freaking, that's over 50% unemployed in LA County.
Yeah,
I mean that's nuts.
It's getting difficult to find a job here in Japan as well.
Oh, I'm
people
sure.
are starting to tell me like a lot of the companies have stopped hiring because just the economic impact.
Yeah, it's worldwide.
Of the virus, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's all this he said, she said, but you know, I just wish we had somebody up there that would communicate with the rest of the country a little bit better. He's just he goes back and forth. He flips flops. His ego's eating him up. Try street epistemology on Trump.
I would say Trump is a special person.
He is extra special. He's extra special.
Yeah. Sure. I'm okay if street it's like he's a person. I'm okay if street epistemology doesn't work on him. He's like that 1 in 1,000. Probably. I don't know, actually.
With me, I just get in there and box his freaking ears. You know, one thing I've seen is these conspiracy theory videos that the United States has got our Marines in the South Seas of China because China is supposedly whatever trying to claim some of the islands down there, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, right.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think that, but they kind of been popping up on my feed again on YouTube. You know, I think some of these are a few years old. You know, I'll take a look for one of them ones. It was just funny as hell.
China's ambition, like ambition on Southern Sea is, I think it's a thing since I'm very young. It's probably since a long time ago.
Yeah.
I used to meet a girl that was from Vietnam, and I think she's like the first person in Canada ever liked me, and
Oh.
we kind of got really heated on the southern China Sea. So
You broke up there. Can you hear me? I think
we
you
never
just broke up
started a
there.
relationship, but that was definitely one of the reasons. Well, apart from me being an idiot mentioning it.
I didn't hear half of what you said there. I'm sorry about
so the Southern China Sea dispute with China and Vietnam was definitely one of the reasons we didn't become a couple. But I would say it's the main reason is really me being an idiot for bringing it up.
Yeah, people get touchy about that. There you go. Should have used street epistemology.
Yeah. Back then I didn't know about it. I actually started this whole thing when I'm in Japan.
Oh, I can do this.
Do what?
I could show his
content. Took a yearly lung capacity test because jobs to see the orange idiot talk safety is pathetic and insulting.
Yeah.
The
That's
president's color.
Bunsen burners.
Yeah. I never had a Bunsen burner. I wished I had one.
A Bunsen burner? Yeah. I've
because it goes hotter than the what's it called? A lamp. Like I had the thing that use alcohol to produce a flame to heat things.
all you really need is a propane tank, isn't it, for a Bunsen burner? And then a valve.
Yeah, they're more expensive.
Oh, okay. What's the difference between because they have the? I remember in high school.
They have. I think they just pump fuel faster.
Okay. So they burn hotter.
I want to. Yeah.
Let's see. So how many languages did you say? Did you say you spoke 5 languages?
Well, the language I speak to the level of I can work in the language would be Chinese, English, and Japanese, and also speak a little Esperanto and a teeny tiny bit of Russian. I've only put in 100 hours in Russian, and I'm currently learning Latin. I think it's something you want to learn, like before you're dead. It's a fantasy for a polyglot like me.
Trying to look up Bunsen burner here. Okay. Bunsen burner, named after Robert Bunsen, is a common piece of laboratory equipment that produces a single open gas flame, which is used for heating, sterilization, and combustion. The gas can be natural gas or a liquefied petroleum gas, such as propane, butane, or a mixture of both. There, now we know.
Yeah, so I actually use like gas fuel rather than alcohol, which has to like evaporate and produce the fume and then combust. I follow some chemistry YouTubers, by the way, like Neil Rad.
Freezing up again. Can you hear me?
Clean it up again. Yeah, you look freezing.
Yeah, can you hear me talk?
Yeah, I can hear you talk. Just your pictures
Okay.
are.
Oh, hey, there you go.
I just moved. It just moved. Are you on the green screen?
Yeah, I got a green screen right back there.
Yeah, it says three.
Well, I just got a green sheet. I don't really have a green screen, but I got here. I can change that. Let's see, what can I do here? Let's do this. Did I change it?
Yeah, there's some skulls with sunglasses. Yeah. Yeah. Green.
You just noticed that, huh? Usually I sit right back in front of it, but I'm just I don't know. I want to shoot pool.
Would you like to talk about like how you become an atheist?
How I became an atheist? My grandma, my great grandmother. Well, actually, hold on. My great grandmother, my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mom. They were all atheists. So I kind of and basically my grandma and my great grandma, she was kind of into like Eastern philosophies like Buddhism and stuff like that. So I kind of, I guess you can call it atheist or free thinker or something like that. But I guess that's sort of, I grew up not being indoctrinated into any religion. So I was raised to make up my own mind.
That's interesting. I saw a lot of atheists are like victims of religion, like they had a bad relationship with
There are a lot
and they
like that. Yeah. So, I mean,
compel them to be against religion. Like at least those who are really active in the atheist community, because that's kind of their.
it seems to be. I would say more of anti-theist kind of thinking is more of that. But I mean, atheists have their bubbles and like that in their groups and all that too. And nobody can get along, so it's not like you're gonna. you have your right.
Would you like to talk about that in Japan?
What's that?
Would you like to talk about that in Japan or China?
Yeah, I have to talk about in Japan and China for atheists. Not sure what you.
Yeah, how does it work in China or Japan? How does like the atheism? Like you know, like most Chinese people are atheists, right?
Yeah, I understand
that.
Well, there are some parts of Buddhism that kind of have extra beliefs or whatever in there that are what is it, Zen Buddhism? Is that kind of which ones? What's the difference between them? I can't even remember. It's been so long since I've
There's some really it's gone. There's some microphone things anomalies. Okay, it's gone now. So for me personally, it was one of my relatives, really close relative, who's really nice to me when I was young. I get a lot of how do you call it in English? So we get money every year when you're a child in China. So he always gave me a lot of money. But that's not like a Chinese traditional thing. I think it's called like a red packet. It's also always in a red envelope. But anyways, he's a really nice guy. He's like, other than my parents, he's like the nicest person within my relatives. And one day he turned evangelical Christian because his wife was in a church I'd say a Christian group. Actually, they don't have like a physical building. It's not like officially sanctioned religion. Well, the officially sanctioned flavor of Christianity, well, they are evangelical after all.
Okay. They're fundamentalists.
I wouldn't say it's that bad, but they do have some, let's say, crazy beliefs. It's definitely not as crazy as like young Earth creationism.
Yeah,
They are
that's the worst.
evangelical. They had to evangelize, so they do have things that beliefs that make them evangelize those memes in the original sense.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been in conversations with a lot of theists or whatever and apologists, and it just seems to me though that they try and really push. Apologists seem to try to a lot of them, and I'm not going to say all of them, not all, not all apologists, but they stretch the truth of things a little bit, and it just never did stick with me anyway. That's why they were never able to convince me that their God exists anyway. So
I think a lot of time it's just kind of unfortunate. It's like this. I don't think they're lying. I think they just listen to something and it really makes sense to them, and then they are retelling it in the most convincing way possible. But it kind of twisted the thing bit by bit. It's kind of a mimetic evolution of things that make people believe in Christianity.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to religion, it's when it starts interfering with science, and they try and, because of their belief, they misinterpret or misinform people with science, with their version of science, pseudoscience. And that's not saying that just religion.
That's actually okay in China. So Christians are never. I think they are never going to be that big in China, especially with the patriotism going on, because Christianity is fundamentally a foreign thing, unless the Christianity in China somehow go into the Mormonism route and have a Chinese Jesus, that kind of next step in the religious evolution. Unless they do that.
There's Western philosophy, and then there's Eastern philosophy that like that. And I think the big difference between them, it gets down to one thing. In Western philosophy, the philosophy is that we want to do things to change the world, and in Eastern philosophy, it's more of, it is what it is. It's just it will be. I'm just going to enjoy whatever I got here, and it's a little bit different in the philosophies like that. You're not out to change the world in the Eastern philosophy, as like the Buddhists would be. They just
more like change your perspective.
Admire the world, but you don't try and influence it as much or whatever. And a Western person tries to change the truth. Here we go. The truth. I'm sorry, the wrong word. That Eastern philosophy, they look at the truth and they just accept it for what it is. In Western philosophy, it's more, I found out what the truth is, but I want to change the truth so it makes it better. That's a little bit the way I understand it to be.
Okay. Well, the thing you talk about Eastern philosophy, that there's definitely that flair in the Chinese philosophy, but I mean, it's a complicated thing, and that's one of the things.
Those are both of the roots on each side, and there's also an African philosophy, but I'm not even too sure what that's all about. Yeah, two different kinds of philosophy. That's, and I don't know. I've always looked at Buddhism as more of, I don't know. It's pretty. It's very benign anyway. It doesn't hurt too many people, except for maybe there's some sex in there. But I guess there were the kamikaze pilots.
Actually, there's a very interesting YouTube video on this. It's by Rich. Who's the guy? The really famous Canadian astronaut. Who's the guy? Let me post. Actually, I think I can find it. Hatfield. I think his last name is Hatfield.
Hadfield? Is that?
Hatfield? Yeah, that's a Canadian astronaut. His son made a video because his son used to live in Japan, and he actually talked about what's the religious background of the kamikaze pilots. So let me give you a short summary. Maybe I should just like do a video link in the chat or something.
You put the video up and share it right to the screen here. It'll play for us.
Oh, you can play it, and okay. Let me try to find it.
It should say share screen at the bottom, whatever on your tabs and on the window that we're in.
Share screen. Oh yeah, there's a share screen.
Yeah,
let me remove all the things I don't want to share on my screen.
Chris Hadfield. Neil just said Chris Hadfield.
Okay. 1 second. Close tabs to the right. Let me pull up the video. So the channel is called Rich Earth. No, not Rich Earth. Rare Earth.
Okay. I think you can just share your screen. I think you've got permission to do that.
The kamikaze that saved Japan. So let me post the link into YouTube. So that's in the YouTube chat, and let me share my screen. Let's see if this works. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Screen sharing works best on a good computer. Okay, share screen. Let's share screen 2. Okay, how do I drag it to the?
I think
How do I drag it to the?
I think you just click on the one that you want to share on your tabs or whatever. I can't remember. Oh, there we go. I got it.
But it's kind of backstage. Oh, there we go. So that's just a video game. That's my wallpaper. So this is a video, the kamikaze that saved Japan, and you can also kind of tell my viewing preference from these. I'm just going to hide them.
All right.
So I'm going to mute this so I can talk over it, but I'm going to turn on the subtitles.
Cool.
Actually, you know what? Let's turn on the audio so you can hear it. Actually, for some reason, you can't.
I don't think you're gonna hear it on this screen.
The audio.
It'll come in on theirs on here because I heard it on.
No, I'll just use a subtitle.
Oh no, no. Oh, you got to when you go on there, you have to decide on the share screen thing. When you touch the share screen, you have to say share sound 2 or whatever.
Oh, okay. Let's stop that.
Yeah, try and reshare.
Some screens let you share audio. Look for the share audio checkbox on the next window. Okay, screen 2. Share audio.
Ah, there you go.
Is it working? It's not shared yet.
Oh, I gotta share you again, don't I? Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh wait, maybe it's me. I muted YouTube.
Oh, in thousands of boats waited just off the coast here. They'd taken island after island on the way here, and even though the military had fought to the last man,
so he's talking about
the enemy was undeterred. They were coming, and what's more, they were coming in overwhelming numbers with improved technology. It was clear that Japan was going to fall. For the first time in history, the Japanese mainland was going to be invaded.
This guy
they
has
had one hope remaining,
content on religion, actually.
The kamikaze.
Okay. There's something on Christianity in Japan as well.
That story probably sounds familiar. It's the end of World War II, right?
Later.
Well, sort of. This story actually takes place in the 13th century, and the invaders are Mongolian. And there's a couple of things that I should point out straight away. The first is that when I say the Mongolians, I actually mean the Yuan dynasty of China, headed by Kublai Khan. It is now no longer just a steppe people, but a massive expansionist empire taking over all of what we would consider modern-day China and Korea, taking more countries every year. And in addition to that, they aren't really the barbarian horsemen that you might imagine. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that Kublai Khan was one of the most intelligent and modernizing leaders of human history. He's kind of like China's Augustus. But to the Japanese, he was a great threat. And in 1274, he sent an expeditionary force of 20,000 troops to come and sort of probe the Japanese defenses. The Mongols had never really been that great with ocean travel, so you could almost say that he wanted to test the waters, so to speak. And by all accounts, it was a failure. Even though the Japanese were wholly unprepared for this new Mongolian style of combat, they were still doing one-on-one battles where they would call out an individual.
So did I mute it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying, you can, when you're talking, you should probably just hit your space bar. I think that pauses it.
Okay.
I'll unmute it again. Here we go.
Hold that. Okay.
There. Now you might. You just hit your space bar.
I can just click on it.
Yeah.
Mongolians back and held them on the shore. And the Mongolians decided, since they weren't going to be able to take this force, they would head back to China and report on what they'd seen and done. But as they went out in their boats heading back home...
Okay, so this is going to take some time, and I don't want to share the whole thing of it, but the gist of the story is the Mongolian army was destroyed by typhoon.
Yeah. Okay.
So kamikaze in Japanese means God and wind. So it's like a wind from God, and
that was back to me. I can sort of remember that now. Yeah, it's
and so it kind of really supported a religious movement that's Buddhist. So it's really interesting, right? Because you are probably really used to the evolution of Christianity when you are in America, but Buddhism evolves. It has new branches and kind of split. There are schisms, and it can be adopted by the government and all that. It's a similar story,
yeah,
but it can happen somewhere else. And that religion is still prevalent today in Japan. And one branch of it is actually co-ruling with the current majority party in the parliament. I'm actually not quite sure with the whole Japanese system.
Okay, that's interesting.
But they are political.
Okay, it's sort of a theocracy.
But it's really related to, and it's related to the Second World War, the kamikaze. It was a similar situation, and people kind of use the same word, so it would evoke the feelings of people to support it. So because it's something that saved Japan back then, and so maybe it's like maybe they will save Japan once again. And that was the concept they were going with. Anyways, that was kind of the gist of the video. This guy makes a lot of interesting videos, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me show his one on a certain branch of Christianity. You can see I've watched pretty much all of them, but his Japanese videos are the oldest.
Okay.
And you can see after Japan, that's the kamikaze video. Japan's Untouchables, that's interesting, very interesting. And you can see it has 2.4 million views. And I think it's before. Oh, this one, you can see there's a cross here, right?
Which one?
Japan's best conspiracy theory. Let me just show you some of it. Let me give you the link. Let me copy the link into the chat. So, did you know that Jesus wasn't crucified? It was his brother, Ezekiel, who casually snuck onto the cross in his place. As it turns out, Jesus slipped away through Siberia and spent the rest of his life in Shingo, Japan. He stopped spreading the gospel and set up shop. But you can see this stories like this. It really happens all over the world. And yeah, so yeah. But yeah, that's that. Actually, I was subscribed to this channel because Chris Hadfield's music. Like
actually,
this music's actually filmed on the. Well, what?
Rastafarianism. That's the only religion.
What's the what?
Rastafarianism. Rasta. Bob Marley.
Okay. Jeez. Pastafarianism. Okay. Anyway, I was subscribed to the channel because of this video, because it's actually filmed on the International Space Station.
Hey,
it's a music video.
Put a link to your channel out in the chat there. Neil's asking for it. I haven't.
Okay.
I'll probably put one in the description later, but.
Okay. Let me open it up. Copy the link. So I just make whatever I feel like making. I'm not really like. I don't have a theme. I know it's probably best for my YouTube career, but I don't really think about my YouTube as a career. So.
Yeah, I don't really either. I just kind of have fun with inviting people on here and talking about shit.
I like to talk about. You can see I make YouTube in whichever language I feel like. You can.
Oh,
actually in Japanese, and make video in Chinese, in English.
So do you do videos in Chinese and Japanese then? Also?
Yeah. Actually, I think my best performing video is actually in Chinese. If you count by watch time, it was a Chinese video on Kerbal Space Program.
Like I'd be able to tell the difference which one's in Japanese and which one's right. I wouldn't know the difference between them two.
I can, yeah.
Actually, I probably could. I probably could because there's a difference the way Japanese talk.
Yeah, it takes some basic knowledge, because Japanese will always have the kanas, those characters that's specific to Japanese.
And it always seems like they're pissed off too when they're talking.
Okay.
They're not really mad. They're just really got that. I don't know. I just always feel like they're really aggressive when they're yelling at the other person when they're talking when Japanese. Especially it just seems that way anyway. Same with Russian.
I don't know where you got that.
The same with Russian.
Japanese people are very timid, at least in real life. Maybe you've been watching a lot of anime and stuff. I don't know, but they're very timid.
Yeah. That's just that the language doesn't sound like it though. When you listen to it when you don't understand it, it kind of sounds like they're yelling. But I think they just it's just the way the palate's formed when you grow up, I guess.
There's Right. The reason I make videos in Chinese and Japanese is sometimes I feel there's just a lack of certain type of content in those languages.
Yeah.
In English, you have things like atheism, and there's a lot of educational channel in English, but not so much in Japanese and in Chinese. And especially, and things like atheism, it's very rare in Chinese or Japanese. It's not a big thing, but there are people actually suffering. I actually personally know the ex-Jehovah's Witness community in Japan, and I've talked to people who's escaped from the watchtower.
That was pretty big in Japan, wasn't it? The watchtower is pretty big in Japan.
What?
Jehovah's Witnesses, that's a pretty big movement in Japan, wasn't there? A pretty big congregation there.
It's okay, but they are dwindling. They were dwindling. Actually, I've actually talked to a current elder in the local congregation. He told me, yeah. Even he tells me that they are dwindling.
Yeah, it's I don't know. A lot of their beliefs are kind of pretty far out there, you know.
If you ask me, the thing is just the Jehovah's Witness belief doesn't work very well with really developed countries because it kind of asks you to, well, just prepare for the imminent end of the world rather than going to college and
they kind of isolate
higher education, good job.
That's what I think.
What?
They isolate themselves from the communities. They kind of, you know, if they get criticized, they cover up more or whatever in their bubble.
It's interesting what mimetic evolution can do to religions, and they don't used to look like it. I actually learned a bit about their history from this guy called John Siddars. Let me show his channel. Actually, I still have this screen sharing. Let me see if I can. You can see all the channel I'm subscribed to, by the way. Let me just Google here, John. He's one of the anti-Jehovah's Witness.
I know John Siddars.
YouTuber. Yeah, I've learned from him a lot about the
604 atheist
history of Jehovah's Witness.
Are you following Neil on Twitter? Neil the 604 atheist that's in the chat here. You should.
I'm following you on Twitter.
His channel. He does interviews. He's got interviews of all the atheists in the community, just about everybody.
Oh, okay. Cool.
This guy right here. Dubism.
Okay. Let me stop screen sharing.
Hey. I don't got nothing to share. Here, I know what to do.
Okay, I can see the guy.
In this video, you're going to learn how to use a Bunsen burner.
Yeah!
It allows you to heat materials
Why?
quickly. Open can be dangerous. So I'll start by going over some.
Yes, don't put your hand on top of the Bunsen burner.
I had to do it. Sorry. What's going on here with my freezing? There we go.
Okay.
Hey, I'm back. Well, I suppose I gotta start landscaping pretty soon here in my house. So, but
okay,
we gotta do this again. You know what? Stop. trying to stop this.
Oh, I'm already formulating the for some reason.
There we go. Okay, hold on. So I can hear him still freezing up. I don't know why. I got our internet connection is so bad out here. That's the only bad thing about it. But I'm gonna wrap her up though, Xiao. It was awesome meeting you, and we got to do this again because I don't know. I haven't done live streams for so long, and I kind of want to do them again and just chat about crap like this, you know. But anyway, thank you everybody in the chat.
Next time.
And me and Xiao are gonna get out of here. Go and subscribe to Xiao's channel. He's got a good channel. He talks about some really cool shit. But anyway, we're out of here, and thank you for stopping by, all.
Yes.